like. So it's my accidental journey into climate activism. So I'm Gleeson Landry. Thank you so much for pronouncing it correctly. Everyone calls me Gleeson Laundry. It's Landry. But I started in media in 2001. Thanks to there being no social media, there are no pictures of me. So here's a picture of Brittany and JT to give you a vision of what I looked like back then, except I had much thinner eyebrows. My first job in advertising was working on What Satellite and Digital TV magazine. It was so retro. I literally sold classified ad space into a very strange niche magazine. I had a Rolodex of clients. I shared a computer with my colleague, and I made all my bookings in a leather-bound ledger, like it was Dickensian times or something. It was really quite innocent and sweet. We printed everything on recycled paper, and I don't think we had that big of a print run, so it was pretty low carbon in terms of what our outputs were. And I bumbled around the print industry for 10 years, and then when I was 29, I joined The Guardian. And I'd always read The Guardian. When I worked at another rival newspaper, they hated the fact that I walked around with a copy of The Guardian under my arm. So I was super, super, super proud to be working there. And at the time, 1 million people were visiting the homepage every single day, and I did not have a clue what that meant. Spoiler alert, quite a lot of carbon. And in 2015, The Guardian launched an amazing series called Keep It in the Ground. And it was designed to inspire people to recognise that the brands that they're buying from and banking with, etc., were doing a lot of damage. And it prompted readers to question whether their pension funds were inadvertently funding the climate crisis. And it really, really put The Guardian on an amazing footing, and I was so, so proud to work there. But fast forward, and also this bit happened, which was really funny. In 2019, the UN Climate Summit that week prompted the climate strike, and The Guardian gave us all permission to go on strike, which isn't really how strikes work, but it was a really good yardstick, basically. You try getting a whole newsroom out of the office on a Friday afternoon, impossible, but the whole business went on strike for the afternoon, which is incredible. And it really prompted the shift of discussion around climate change, which was how everyone worded it back then, and we started using the expression climate crisis to really, really put a flag in the ground about how important this was. And all the time this was going on, global carbon emissions were growing every single year. So it was getting pretty hot and steamy. After 8 years at The Guardian, I couldn't handle any more of the constantly chaotic news cycle. Trump, Brexit, forest fires, floods, famine. It all got a little bit too much. So 2 weeks before the pandemic, I left The Guardian and joined Good Loop. So I went from one B Corp to another B Corp. And Good Loop, if you don't know about us, we are all about turning advertising revenue into something good. We convert ad revenue into donations to charity, and all of our campaigns are carbon neutral, which is pretty cool. And this is all happening at the same time. Can it be founded? It was all going really, really, really well. And everyone was waking up, right? And people started asking questions about our carbon neutral ads. They were like, why are you doing that? And we were like, well, we do all of our scope 1, scope 2, that's all handled. And our scope 3, we basically have quite rudimentary calculations. And people were like, we want to do that. So we refined the calculations a bit more and put a bit more methodology behind them. And then we made it open source on our website during COP26. And that suddenly became the most visited part of our website. It went bananas. And since then, loads of people have been asking, God, talking lightning fast is really exhausting. People have been asking lots and lots of questions, one agency in particular. Towards the end of last year, Group M in Australia came to us with a challenge. They were like, look, we have a responsibility to Generation Alpha. All the people that are being born right now are going to inherit an absolute disaster, and we really, really want to stop talking and start walking. So we don't just want to offset our media, we don't just want to plant some trees and do that. What we want to do is save the Great Barrier Reef. And we were like, okay, cool, we can do that. So the past 12 months has basically been me working with Group M to build this product, and we went live officially on the 1st of July this year. In that year, my life has changed completely. At the end of last year, I just thought I was doing really, really well if I made sure I didn't buy fast fashion, used eco cleaning products, always offset my flights, and recycled everything and turned the lights off all the time. And now I'm pulling wet wipes out of the Thames, and I got promoted to head of sustainable media. And Can added your 7th manifesto. So sustainability has been promoted. It has entered the building, finally. And certainly over the past couple of months, things have really, really ramped up. And we conducted some research because we wanted to know what everyone else was doing. I don't know everything. In fact, I've only got a double B in science GCSE, so I am not a climate scientist. And we conducted some really amazing research asking marketers from both brands and agencies what they knew and what their attitudes were. And the good news is most people are broadly aligned that we've got to do something. The problem is 38% say their organisation plans to reach net zero in digital advertising at some point in the future, but only 15% have been set targets. So, what we want to help people do is decarbonise that digital media. And we believe we can do this in 4 easy steps. The first one is measure. Second one is report in real time. The third one is learn from those reports and start actively reducing. You don't know what you're dealing with, you can't manage what you can't measure. And then finally, because we've always worked with charities, anything that's left after you've done all the reduction work will help facilitate mitigation through a partnership with Gold Standard. So that's what we do. We do this with a viewability tag, but for the planet. We wanted to use ubiquitous technology to make it really, really easy and to make it scalable really quickly. And so this is a really boring slide, but this is how unattractive things can be when you're at the nitty-gritty end of these things. But it all adds up into a really beautiful dashboard, which allows brands and agencies to see in real time exactly where all their carbon emissions are coming from, whether it's the creative, their publisher, the ad tech, everything, and it all goes in there, and you can start tinkering around in the ad server, and you can start to see the changes happen instantly. So, that's what we're doing at the moment, and that's been my very whistle-stop tour of 20 years in media. But I just wanted to say that, and I said it earlier, I've got a double B in science GCSE. We don't know everything, but we can certainly start to educate ourselves, because conversations around this can be really, really daunting. These are some amazing podcasts that I've been listening to. You can never get enough of TED, or Bloomberg, or some more TED. I also like to throw a bit of BBC Gardener's World in there, just for another view. But crucially, what we want to do is try and make the narrative and understanding and language as accessible as possible. So, if you want to find out more, sign up for our digital advertising detox course, which starts in Jan. So yeah, that's me. Thank you.